Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Now we are back in Pribyslavitz, dressed up as a human, because I want to explore this place a little bit more.
Sure ain't easy. Fuck! Are all humans as ugly as you?
We could get all the way to the camp unobserved this way. Our attack would catch them by surprise, but then we'd run straight into the middle of the humans.
Me?
Okay, now let's avoid this human.
Haven't you got nothing better to do? Fucking weather, fucking tents, fucking camp. But enough of this shit.
And also, in previous episode, I didn't poison all of the food and burned down all of the arrows. So let's do that.
The secret is the fewer arrows you have, the better for us. Enjoy your meal.
You're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
The fewer arrows you have, the better for us.
To arms! Get over here! Raise the alarm!
Look at that. Those heathens are a lot tidier than the main recipe. I'd like to see you try shooting these now. I'd like to see you try shooting these now.
Welcome, Henry. God save you, good night. What can I do for you?
Have you...
How are you, Henry?
On the side.
What, Mashek? You must be pulling my pizzle. There isn't a woman round here who'd look twice at that horny old goat. Excepting that Vfxone of his.
No, but she's not from round here. She don't live in the village. Maybe up at the mill or with the charcoal furnace.
Christ, no good will come of that. Bringing strange women into the village from God knows where.
My very words. The neighbours are missing 2 ends already.
Could have been a weasel.
Oh, that weasel of a woman. Who knows what she's like? For all anyone knows, she might be some wild woman of the woods.
Not likely. We've already got all the wild woodland women at home ourselves. Except in Mashek. He's got a she-dragon.
Come on! God be with you, lad. What can I do for you?
I'm back from scouting, sir.
Excellent. What have you found out?
There's an overgrown, ruined village in the woods where they're dug in.
That sounds like Pribyslavitz. It used to belong to Sir Divish before Havelmatic attacked and torched it, and then imprisoned Divish. It's been left abandoned ever since. I was hoping they wouldn't be so organized. Earthworks and fortifications. That's quite a different matter from routing some rabble out of the woods.
I tried to count them.
And how many of them are there? Bear in mind I'm relying on what you say. We'll have to call for reinforcements, and that's no simple matter. Every man that comes with us will be lacking somewhere else, and I don't want bandits pillaging some other town because there's no one left to mount a defense.
Now, depending on this choice here, Radzik is gonna take more or less men in to fight. Now, in my previous playthrough, I chose this option, but many people on the internet say that this option is the best. So, I think I'm gonna go with this option, because I'm quite strong enough, but if you're not strong enough, maybe you should choose some other option. So let's go with this one.
A handful. Hardly worth bothering about.
That's a relief. Along with Sir Robard's men, we'll easily be able to handle it.
It's mostly bandits in the camp. They're not villagers with pitchforks, but not regular soldiers either.
No more than I expected. I have no fear of them, but underestimating the enemy can be fatal.
There aren't just bandits in the camp. There are Cumans too, quite a few of them.
Cumans, you say? Where the hell did they come from? Could Sigismund have left them there after he raised Skalitz? This is looking more and more serious.
I took a look at their arms and armour. They're not a proper army, but they're equipped quite well.
What about archers?
There's a few of them, and they're positioned well. If we charge them head-on, they'll probably do us a lot of damage.
I don't like the sound of that. It complicates the situation. Dealing with them before the battle would be the best option.
They're up to something in the middle of the camp. It looked like they were making several long ladders.
Ladders? That sounds like they're planning a siege. I like this less and less. On the other hand, we can use that to our advantage. If we can capture those ladders, we can use them to scale their own fortifications.
That's about all I saw, sir. I didn't notice anything else.
That's all right. Did you manage any sabotage while you were there, as I asked you?
I managed to destroy some of their arrow supplies, so they'll have less ammunition.
Well done. That's just what we need.
I managed to slip poison to a few of them. They should be too sick to fight.
You're as cunning as a fox. We need more like you.
That's all, sir.
Don't worry, Henry. You've proven yourself an excellent spy. I need you to go to Sir Divish in Talmberg and tell him to send Captain Robard and his men to our aid. There's not enough of us here in the camp.
You can rely on me, sir. What should I tell him?
Tell him to take a few men, maybe a dozen, and set out for Pribyslavitz. We'll meet up there and mount an attack together.
All right, I'll get going.
And be quick. We've no time to spare. God be with you.
Now let me know in the comments what dialogue did you choose for Sir Radzig and why, about how many humans and bandits are in the camp. As I said, many people on the internet say the last option is the best, the one that says there are lots of them. But I don't know why, and they didn't explain why. So if you know something about it, please let me know down below in the comments.
Henry! God be with you, lad. What can I do for you?
Sir Radzig sent me with an important message. He asked for reinforcements.
He needs more men? What's going on?
The bandits and Cumans have set up camp in Pribyslavitz. They're preparing for something. Sir Radzig wants to mount an assault on them, but he doesn't have enough men.
Hang on. Easy now. From the beginning. What happened?
I managed to track down the camp of the bandits who raided Neuhof. But it's not just a gang of brigands. More like a small army in a fortified encampment. I don't know what they're up to, but I'm sure they're getting ready for something. And Sir Radzig wants to destroy them before they get a chance.
So it's worse than I thought. But Sir Radzig is right. We should do something about them before it's too late. I'll send my soldiers.
Sir Radzig said to take a few men, a dozen should do. We're to go to Pribyslavitz with them and mount an assault together.
All right then. Sir Radzig knows what he's doing. I'll muster the men and send them with Captain Robard in command. Would you lead my men there right now?
Yes, sir.
May God be with you in battle.
Sir Radzig!
I'm glad to see you, Captain Robard. I hope Henry's explained everything to you.
He did, but I find it hard to believe. Who could possibly put together such a significant military force, and right under our noses?
We'll just have to find out, but I don't think we will until after a battle. If we don't deal with them now, who knows what they'll be capable of in a week or two.
I agree entirely, my lord. What's the plan?
Right, lad. We're almost at the place you described. Now we'll have to advance cautiously. I need you to tell me how it looks around the camp so I can decide which side to lead the attack from.
Sir, that's a big responsibility. I don't think I should...
I asked you a question, boy. You've been there and seen everything, so speak up.
There are 3 ways to get in. Directly along the straight path to the camp, the long way round through the woods and over an old weir, or by a narrow bridge over a deep ditch.
Let's start with the direct route. That sounds like the easiest approach. How does it look there?
That path leads round their battlements. It's fortified and patrolled. The chances are they'd shower us with arrows on the way.
It's a good thing you're here, Henry. We'll have to try another way then. What about the approach through the woods and the weir? I don't like the idea of marching such a long way over rough ground, but if it's the better option...
It's a long way through the woods, and there are patrols there as well. They'll call the alarm before we reach the camp.
I thought so. What about the last approach, over the bridge? It's a bit narrow for my liking.
It's narrow, all right, but once we get over, we can quickly occupy the best ground for a battle. We only have to take down a few archers.
The battleground sounds inviting, but that bridge and the archers, it's not an easy decision. Each option has its pros and cons.
I try to answer to the best of my ability, sir.
And you'll be suitably rewarded for your efforts. From what you say, the route over the bridge is the best option. If we're fast, we'll have the advantage. With the help of God, we'll win this day. We'll approach from the south and storm them over the bridge. Form up. Forward march. Advance! To the bridge, quickly! Get to the other side, as many of you as possible! Hold your position there! Stop where you are! Lift together! Out of here! Tactical retreat! Go! Go! Move that way! wagon! All right, man! Always clear! Up and up! Not another step! More on, son! Line up! Now! Forward! Now to take the main camp! Get ready, men! This will be the toughest fight! Forward! March! Muster up! Advance! Up charge! Glory!
Not another step!
Backhand is off! Now you come to the church! Back down that again!
Stick together and hold the line. Hold your ground.
Sir, there's more of them coming from below.
What the hell? To your post! Defend this fucking hill! Now, attack!
Regroup and repel the attack.
Stand your ground, you dogs! Drive them back!
I will cleave you in two, you bastard. You tried before, and yet here I am. What? Who the hell are you? You don't remember me? I remember you, though. Now, where's my fucking sword?
What the fuck are you on about? What's... Hang on. You're the... Fuck me. I thought we left you to the crows. Tough little fucker, eh?
What did you do with my sword?
Judging by our last encounter, I'd say you made a big mistake coming here.
Where's my fucking sword?
But then again, maybe you've had some practice. I hope so. Because last time was too easy. God! Not bad for a peasant brat.
It's not over yet, you scum. Now where's my sword? What have you done with it? Talk, you bastard!
I'll see you in hell.
Tell me, do you hear me? Tell me what you've done with it!
I'd say you're flogging a dead horse there.
You took him down. On your own. Well done. Nice work. You surprised me. He was a mountain of a man.
He was the one who attacked Neuhoff. And stole your sword, sir.
The thought did cross my mind. What did he tell you? If we'd taken him alive, the executioner might have gotten more out of him. Oh well, these things happen in the heat of battle. Anyway, we found a trunk full of coin down below. Someone was paying this gang very well. And there were some of Sigismund's barbarians among them. I don't think we've seen the last of this. Whoever engineered it was highly placed. They won't give up after one defeat. This louse was just a pawn.
I'm afraid you're right, sir. Well, lad, you live to fight another day, eh? That's the fear leaving you, lad. Let it go. Now, put it all behind you. A decent Christian shouldn't dwell on such horrors.
I beg to differ, sir. I never want to forget this. The time has come for those whoresons to pay for what they did to us.
You're right, my boy. But first, we all need some rest. We'll meet later in the upper castle in Ratte and then decide what to do next. But come what may, you did a good job today.
I will make you pay for this. It's time for the next part of our plan. Give the word.
Yes, sir.
So Sir Hanesh has rewarded us with this room. Nice. We are sleeping next to pigs. Is this our reward?
Greetings, Henry.
Hey! Henry's come to see us!
Learn how to ride a horse, idiot!
Seriously? Let's push him. Is this timed event? If not, let's go and find Runt's body. Please be the treasure map guy.
What's it about?
An offer you can't refuse. The finest goods at an incredible price.
All right. Show me what you're selling.
As you wish.
Savior schnapps. For 20 groschen. Nice. It looks like this crossroad is the best one for random encounters. For traders, beggars, and stuff like that. The best spot where you can get random treasure maps. Okay, this is the same guy.
How are you, Henry?
My lord, I'm afraid you were right when you said these hostilities wouldn't end at Pribyslavitz.
That comes as no surprise.
What has happened?
The men reported 2 more attacks today.
Ah, Henry. I'm glad you're here. It seems like we'll have another task for you. Come and join us.
My lord.
Greetings, lad.
The bandits raided a few remote hamlets, but that's the least of our worries. They also attacked Merhoyed, and that's a much more serious matter.
Merhoyed? Matthias is working there.
They attacked right after the battle in Pribyslavitz. Bastards are probably trying to prove they're still strong. But there's a silver lining. The villagers held them off, and they even took 1 captive. He's wounded, but we can still interrogate him.
Your Graces, I hope I'm not intruding.
On the contrary, Master Tobias. Unlike Bernard, you are the bearer of good tidings. Or so I gather from the coin you carry. Tell me, how many groschen did we find in Pribyslavitz?
My lord, I'm sorry, but my news is no better than Captain Bernard's. These coins are very good. That is to say, well-made facsimiles, as we call them.
What? I don't give a fack what you call them. I want to know what they're facking worth.
That's just it, sir. They're worth nothing.
Are you saying what I think you're saying, Master Tobias? This here
is just a pile of copper.
Kurva! Fuck!
Plated with silver, so it's still of some worth.
Kurva! Fuck!
Is it a lot of work to make such counterfeits, Master Tobias?
I should say so, sir. Highly demanding work. Especially to make such plausible forgeries. They would need a well-hidden foundry, several craftsmen, and a source of material.
But they could just be brought in from somewhere else, could they not?
Well, they could, but then again, the silver mines are nearby, and these groschens seem freshly minted, so...
So we are facing a foe who has almost limitless sources of coin. That's all we need.
Doppeltel.
Well, gentlemen, it's clear what we have to do. Interrogate that captive bandit, find out their numbers, and promptly cut off their supply of money. Otherwise, they'll soon have another encampment.
If they haven't already.
I doubt it, sir. Merhayed wouldn't have been able to hold them off if they did.
Well, lad, I said we'd have work for you, but it never crossed my mind there would be this much. You've already proved your worth as an investigator, so I'm putting my faith in you again. Go to Merhayed and question that captive. Find out where those brigands are hiding, how many there are, and what they're planning. And while you're at it, see if you can find some clues as to where this counterfeit coin is coming from.
Very well, sir.
Good luck. We're counting on you. All of us. Come report to me as soon as you know anything. I'll be at the lookout point near Talmberg.
Welcome.
Okay, now let's see if we unlocked some side quests. Oh, yes, we did.
God save you!
How are the Talmberg folk getting on? Is it peaceful here?
Do you even have to ask? Some poachers have settled in the woods near the inn. A right band of them too. The master huntsman's at his wit's end with them. And maybe he could use your help.
Now this quest is very tricky and it has multiple endings. So I'm gonna save here.
God save you. What can I do for you?
Master Huntsman, is there any work for me here?
There's always something that needs doing. You're that Skalitz lad, aren't you? Sir Radzig's lackey.
That'll be me.
Right. I saw you here shortly after the attack. My word, to get away from Talmberg like that, quite remarkable. It's clear you're not easily scared. So I do have a job for you.
I'm listening.
We've been having terrible problems with poachers lately. In Sir Divish's forests, we've been finding gutted entrails of deer and rabbit nooses all over the place. But no sign of the bastards who put them there.
And you want me to track down the poachers?
Indeed. Whatever you learn will be useful to me.
Do you suspect anyone?
Well, it's hard to say, but seeing how much harm they're causing, I'd say they're no crofters looking for a Sunday roast.
Shouldn't you be dealing with the poachers yourself?
I should, you're quite right. But when I ask the local folk anything, their mouths close up like clams. They're more scared of me than the devil.
Do you think the locals are in on it?
Well, I don't know, maybe. But even if not, they'll never talk to me. They're scared I'll dig some skeleton out of their cupboard. You know, the smaller the village, the bigger the secrets. That's why I need an outsider to ask for me.
I understand. I'll try to find out something about them. Any advice about where to start?
Certainly. Ask around the village. Somebody must have seen or heard something. And it wouldn't hurt to ask in the inn in the glade, the one on the road towards Neuhof. I've heard they serve good venison, and no shortage of it.
That's clear enough. As soon as I hear anything, I'll let you know.
Thanks for your help, lad.
How are you, Henry?
I heard you've got a poaching problem in the woods around here.
In the woods and out of them. Not long back the bastards hung a deer's head on the huntsman's house.
That's pretty brazen of them.
Certainly is. Word around the village is that someone wants to shame him till he squirms.
Putting a deer's head on the huntsman's house sounds pretty risky. Why would anyone do that?
Maybe they want to show that Huntsman Nicholas is no match for them. And they're not wrong. He isn't the man he should be.
Do you think it was someone local?
I really don't know. All sorts of things get said. Hanekin Hare's back, if you listen to some, and others are going on about Tom of the Baths. They swear blind he's got his fingers in it.
And what about you?
It could be anyone. There's more than one that has it in for Nicholas. And who knows what the neighbors get up to by night.
What's so suspicious about this Thomas?
Just that he was drunk and blabbering about how he was going to bring back venison from the woods.
Tell me something about Hanekin Hare.
He used to be Master Huntsman here a while back. But then Nicholas got him accused of a murder, and the Hare had to flee. It cost him the huntsman's rank and Margaret, too.
What happened between Hare and Nicholas, anyway?
Those two didn't get on from the start. And then that business with Margaret really set them at each other's throats. But it all came to a head about 15 years back when Sir Henry of Lipa came to visit.
Sir Hanish's father?
Just so. There was a banquet at the castle in his honor, and in the morning they found one of Sir Henry's men-at-arms in the ditch with his neck broken. Well, Nicholas made sure the blame fell on Hanekin Hare.
And what happened to Hare?
That's just it. No one rightly knows. They put him in the dungeon, but when Sir Henry's men came for him the next morning, he was gone. No one knows what became of him.
So how did Nicholas put the blame on Hare?
Nicholas always had a viper's tongue, and events made it easy for him. That evening there'd been a right falling out between Hare and the guardsmen. Blows were struck. Well, Sir Divish didn't want any ill will with Sir Henry, so he tried to settle things as quick as he could, and Hare got the short straw.
What was going on with Margaret?
Her father promised her to Hanekin, because they seemed a good match. But Nicholas couldn't stomach that, so he did what he did.
I want to ask about something else. So why do people think Tom of the Baths is involved?
Ah, that's just nonsense. He was bragging in the tavern that he'd put on a venison feast for the village girls. Deer for the deers.
Did he?
I doubt it. He's all mouth and no trousers. But if you want to know more, ask my husband, the innkeeper. I wasn't here that evening.
That'll be all. Thanks. I've heard Tom of the Baths was mouthing off in here.
So he did. He and Jack Piper were bragging about how they'd make a feast for the village lasses, that there'd be venison roast and enough beer to fill a river. And a few days later, they did come and buy a few kegs of beer from me.
Did they have anything else to say?
Not really. I told him to shut up, or someone would hear him and there'd be trouble.
And what did he say to that?
Nothing. He had more booze in him than the castle cellar. He just hiccuped and slid under the table. Piper took him off after that, thank God.
Do you suppose he meant it?
Hardly. He's nothing but a braggart.
All right. I'd best ask him myself.
Well, feel free to ask, but don't believe half what he says.
And who is this Jake Piper?
Oh, he's Tom's best mate. A decent fellow. They call him the Piper because everywhere he goes, he's whistling on that pipe of his.
Where can I find him?
Well, most likely in the quarry. He lends a hand there to make ends meet.
Folk were talking about Hanekin Hare.
Oh, good Lord. People do like to prattle on. Don't you go believing a word they say. It's the back of beyond here, and they'll tell any tale to spice things up a bit.
Do you think Nicholas isn't doing enough?
A master huntsman who lets poachers run wild through his woods?
He's useless. He couldn't even stop them hanging a stag's head on his own house.
Right. Thank you, innkeeper. I'll be going.
Hey, Henry's come to see us. I hope I can be of help to you, Knight.
I need to ask you something about the poachers.
What? Me? Why me, for Christ's sake?
They say you were mouthing off in the tavern.
We'd all had a few ales. You know what it's like. The tales get taller.
So you didn't go poaching with Thomas?
My God, no. That would never even cross our minds. Thomas is a bit wild, but I have some sense, at least.
Huh? I'm at your service, Sir Knight.
I hear there's been trouble with poachers recently.
I don't have time to talk to strangers. Good day to you.
I'm here to find out about the poachers gang, and I need to ask a few questions.
Well, ask away. I don't have all day.
I heard you were yelling in the tavern that you were off to hunt some venison.
Look here. I don't know who you are, but you should watch your mouth.
I will, don't you worry. So what happened then?
What? Nothing. It was just the beer talking. I got pissed and started spouting shit. Didn't mean a word of it.
Maybe not. That remains to be seen. That'll do me. I hear there's been trouble.
I don't have time to talk to strangers.
So my wife's brother...
Greetings, Henry.
I'd like to ask you about Hanekin Hare.
I'm sorry, but I really don't want to talk about that.
The thing is, every time I spoke to someone about Hare, they always ended up talking about you.
But I don't.
You aren't to blame for anything, is that it? Well, I am willing to believe you, but you do know more than you're telling, and I need to hear it.
Very well. You're right. And what would you like to know about Hare?
How were things between you and Hare back then?
There was nothing between us. Hanekin Hare impressed my father with all his talk of noble blood. But I couldn't stand him, and I didn't want to marry him. And then it made no odds after he ran away.
So you didn't want to? I only asked because I've heard differently.
That's village talk. Of course folk gossip. Mostly they just want to hurt Nicholas.
Did Hare really commit the murder?
God in heaven, how should I know? Anyway, it doesn't matter now.
That remains to be seen. That'll be everything. I'd like to find out about the poachers round here who've been stealing game recently.
If you ask me, there's some questions best left unanswered. But go and see Elena if you're determined. That old gossip will tell you all there is to know.
I'd like to ask you...
I'm sorry, but
That'll do me. I heard there are poachers in the woods round here.
If only if it was just poachers. It's that sorcerer Hare. He's the one who's been running amok. I said he'd be back, and I said he'd be vengeful, and I was right both times.
Tell me something about Hanekin Hare.
Ah, that was all years ago. He turned up here one day, no one rightly knew where from. He claimed up at the castle to be a nobleman's son, and so he got the office of Master Huntsman, and Margaret was promised him for his wife. Nobody could have known he was a sorcerer.
How did it go with Margaret?
I'm not one to gossip, but she was a flighty lass in her younger years. She could never make up her mind which one she wanted, the Hare or Nicholas, so in the end, fate decided for her.
What do you mean? What happened with Hare?
Oh, that was quite something. And then some on top of it. Sir Henry of Lipo was visiting here at the castle, and Hare snapped his guardsman's neck with his bare hands. Of course, they found him out. But how do you keep a sorcerer under lock and key? You can't. That's your answer. And that Satan's spawn slipped the net.
Oh well, quite a wild story. And how did his sorcery reveal itself?
Well, he was able to vanish into thin air in the forest right in front of folk. And I've heard it said he spoke to animals, too, though I don't know the truth of it.
That doesn't sound very convincing to me.
That's because you've not seen his marksmanship. It wasn't natural, the things he could do with that bow of his. They say he sold his soul for the gift of it.
I see. Any idea why he murdered the man?
No one knows, and most likely never will. But they say he was fully in the devil's power. There was a full moon, you see.
Was he actually seen killing the guardsman?
I suppose so. Else they'd hardly know who did it, would they?
That's probably true. There is one other thing I want to ask. Tell me something.
Ah, that was all years ago. He turned up here one day, no one rightly knew where from. He claimed up at the castle to be a nobleman's son, and so he got the office.
Well, I should...
Not at all. I always like a good chin wag.
I want to ask one more.
So ask.
Has anyone actually seen this Hanekin Hare? He seems to exist only as a bogeyman to frighten naughty children.
Oh, he exists all right, but he flits around in the forest like a shadow. They won't be catching him anytime soon, but Blacksmith's Betty heard some of their goings-on in the woods.
Goings-on? What's that supposed to mean?
Cavorting and raising hell. Sorcery! Hare meets up with his sorcerer's apprentices, and they feast in the clearing in the woods. In the morning, they turn into ravens and scatter. Or so she says. But you'll have to ask Betty for more. Who knows what she saw? Or what she was doing there with them?
Very well. I'll ask. Who does Hare want revenge on?
Master Huntsman Nicholas, of course. When the Hare disappeared, Nicholas took his Margaret and the huntsman's posting.
So Nicholas came out of it well?
That one always knew how to land on his feet.
Thanks. I think I know all I need.
Hey, look out! Lout!
Good day, Henry.
I've got a few questions about these poachers.
So ask.
I heard you saw something fishy in the forest.
That's right, I did.
Can you describe what you saw?
It was after dark, I remember that. I went up past the castle along by the clearing, and I saw someone had lit a fire, and there were figures singing and dancing, and I could hear the whistling of a pipe. And I could smell roast meat. It was like a feast of some sort. Only I thought maybe it was some witch's sabbath, so I was afraid to stay too long in case they saw me.
Did you recognise anyone there? Someone from the village, maybe?
No. Like I said, it was dark. All I could see was shadowy figures moving around.
Did you hear any familiar voices?
No. But I heard girls' laughter, goblets clinking, a piper playing. It sounded just like any feast.
Where is the clearing?
A short walk north of the castle. There's a track past the woodcutter's camp that takes you there.
Thanks. What do you make of this poaching that's been going on?
It's clear as day. Hanekin Hare's back. And putting those antlers on Nicholas's house? Well, we all know what that means, don't we? It's the sign of a cuckold, you mark my words.
You mean to say his wife's cheating on him?
All I'm saying is she might be feeling the urge. It happens in the best of families.
Well, you're the first who's certain of Hare's return. So far, I've just heard vague rumours.
Well, now, I wouldn't say I'm completely sure. I suppose some other mischief maker could have done it, but better the devil you know, and everyone hereabouts knows Hare.
You were singing a different song not long ago.
So? Why do you want to know so much, anyway?
It's nothing to you, but I'm helping Nicholas unmask that local poaching gang.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, now you know. And you also know not to keep anything from me. So, what's the story with that Hare?
All right, I'll tell you what I know. But promise not to tell Nicholas I said it.
I'll do what I can, but I need to let him know what I discover. So, out with it.
It's to do with Margaret, his wife. They say it's all because of her.
Keep going.
I know full well Hare's here, because Margaret admitted as much.
What did she tell you?
That he waited in the woods till she came by and they exchanged some words. Words was all she told me. Who knows what they actually got up to.
And what did they speak about?
I don't know. But if Nicholas knew they'd met, he'd most likely kill her.
You're sure she wasn't saying it in jest?
Oh no. Margaret wouldn't joke about something like that.
Well, you're the first who's certain of Hare's return. So far, I've just heard vague rumours.
Well, now, I wouldn't say I'm completely sure. I suppose some other mischief maker could have done it, but better the devil you know, and everyone hereabouts knows Hare.
Stop trying to wriggle out of it. Do you realise who I am?
Not really.
But you know who Radzig Cobbler is, right?
Of course.
I'm his right-hand man, and I'm helping the huntsman catch the poachers. So, I'm not someone you should be messing around.
All right, I'll tell you what I know. But promise not to tell Nicholas I said it.
I'll do what I can, but I need to let him know what I discover. So, out with it.
It's to do with Margaret, his wife. They say it's all because of her.
Keep going.
I know full well Hare's here, because Margaret admitted as much.
What did she tell you?
That he waited in the woods till she came by and they exchanged some words. Words was all she told me. Who knows what they actually got up to.
And what did they speak about?
I don't know. But if Nicholas knew they'd met, he'd most likely kill her.
You're sure she wasn't saying it in jest?
Oh no. Margaret wouldn't joke about something like that.
Who's this Hanekin Hare, anyway?
Hanekin Hare? There was a time he was master huntsman here, and Margaret was set to be his wife. But then he got himself accused of murder and fled before they could hang him. Margaret and his job both ended up going to Nicholas.
So what's the story between Hare and Margaret?
It was complicated. He wanted her and she wanted him too, I reckon. At least for a while. But then she hitched up with Nicholas and now she says she never had a thought of wedding Hanekin Hare.
So what went on between Hare and the huntsman?
Those two? There was no love lost between them from the moment Hare arrived. And then Margaret got involved. It was a messy business.
Do you think Hare really killed that man?
Who knows the truth of it now? I did find it all a bit odd. Hare never was much of a hothead. But then again, no one really knew him that well. And Margaret never wanted to speak of it. Wouldn't hear a word about it.
That's all I need. Thanks.
What is it?
I'm here to find out.
Well, ask away.
Blacksmith Betty saw people feasting in the woods, and she says there was a nice smell of venison. What do you know about it?
Nothing. I wasn't there.
And I don't suppose you'll tell me who was?
No, because I wasn't there.
That'll do me.
God save you, Henry.
God save you, good knight. What can I do for you?
I need to ask you something about the poachers.
What? Me? Why me, for Christ's sake?
Some folk had themselves a feast in the woods recently, and the people who passed by told me they heard a piper playing. You weren't by any chance there, were you?
I was. I don't deny it. But nothing disreputable went on there.
If you're innocent, lying won't help you.
I don't know what you want from me. Nothing wrong went on in that clearing, and I certainly don't go poaching in the woods.
But you do know something about it, and you're keeping it from me. Covering up for a friend, is that it? Very well. Loyalty is a fine thing, but once they discover who did it, then it'll be too late. You'll be right in over your head, with him.
But I haven't done anything.
Then you have nothing to fear if you tell me what happened.
All right. Yes. There was venison being eaten, but I didn't bring it. Thomas brought that there.
So all that bragging when he was drunk was more than just hot air?
I don't know where the deer came from. After what happened in the tavern, Tom took me to the forest to this hide there. But I was too worried someone would catch us, and I took off.
You did yourself a favour. Thomas isn't going to get away with this.
Damn!
Ah!
I'm glad you stopped by.
God save you, good knight. What can I do for you?
I'm here to find out about the poacher's gang.
Well, ask away.
Jake Piper reckons you were at that feast.
I wasn't.
So you're calling Jake a liar?
I don't give a toss about Jake or whatever's buzzing around that empty head of his. He probably got so drunk he had visions of me there.
Look, I can see you're not a poacher. You look like you couldn't hit a barn door.
That's what you think.
Are you trying to tell me you're a marksman? Are you an idiot or just too vain to think straight?
I don't see what you're getting at.
Look, I can tell you're not a poacher, but this constant lying isn't helping your case. In the end, if they don't find anyone, they'll come after you. They'll know it's not really you, but so what? There'll be no one better to blame, and someone has to swing for it.
All right. But promise me you won't drag me into anything.
Speak up and who knows? I might put in a word for you.
All right. The truth is I did drag a deer carcass there, but I didn't do the shooting. I was given it.
That's a likely story.
Honestly, not a word of a lie. I caught the poacher just as he was skinning it.
And who might that be?
I don't know.
If you don't tell me who it was, I've no reason to believe that story of yours.
Fine. Fine. He's one of the charcoal men. I've seen him taking the charcoal to the forge. His name is Radan.
There are plenty of charcoal burners around here.
He came from the charcoal piles south of here. If you follow the creek upstream, you can't miss them.
Well, you better pray I find him, because if you've been lying to me, I'll go straight to the castle. Understood?
I'm telling the truth, I swear. I'm sure you'll find him there.
We'll see.
Good! Yeah!
I'd like to ask you about Hanekin Hare.
I'm sorry, but I really don't want to talk about that.
That'll do me. I'd like to find out...
If you ask me...
I'd like to...
I'm sorry.
That'll do me.
Yeah!
Henry, I'm glad you came. I am honored that you should come to me.
A fellow from Talmborough claims he saw you poaching. What do you have to say about that? Can you hear me? Don't you have anything to say to me about that?
I'm not a poacher.
That's not what I've heard.
But I'm not a poacher, though.
Did your friends tell you the penalty for poaching?
No.
No? Of course not. Because if you knew, you'd never have been foolish enough to get involved.
I'm no poacher.
No, of course not. You're the Pope in disguise.
What?
No, never mind. But just so you know, the local custom is to string poachers up.
I don't want to hang.
No? Then you better make sure they won't hang you.
How?
For a start, by telling me where I can find your merry band of poachers. Because maybe I'm jumping to conclusions, but I don't think you're the leader.
No, I'm not.
So, out with it.
They only take me along from time to time.
All right. But you know where I can find them, don't you?
Aye.
And where is that?
The clearing.
They meet in a clearing.
They camp there.
And where is the clearing?
A short walk from here.
Oh, Lord. A short walk where? Do you know how many clearings there are in these woods?
No. Sorry, I don't know.
Oh my God. Where is the clearing they camp in? How do I get there?
Along the trail. From the huntsman's lodge. Go into the wood by the big broken tree. Eastward.
Very well. I hope I can find it.
I'll slay you, you scum!
Greetings, good knight. How may I serve you?
Would you know of any way I could earn a bit of coin around here?
As it happens, I was just going to tell you about a job.
So, tell me.
Now and again, the fisherman from Talmberg comes around here with some game to sell. There's more and more poaching going on there, and they're always looking for new people, if you're interested.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Then find a fellow in Talmberg who goes by the name of Black Bluefish. I think he lives on the hill above the castle. Tell him I sent you.
Thanks.
So this is the side quest for the side quest that we're doing. Basically, we got ourselves a side questception.
Reverse to a bit of profit, like it.
And it's safe as house. Stop and talk a while, please.
My humble greetings. How may I serve you?
I've been hearing some quite wild stories about Hare.
People do prattle on. It happened a long time ago, and I've heard some crazy tales myself.
And what's your version of what happened?
Hare was a stuck-up knob. He came here with nothing to show but his bare arse. But he thought he could have anything he pointed at. All because he was of noble stock.
Whatever became of him?
Oh, you must have heard. He killed one of the armed men that served Sir Henry of Lipa, and they sentenced him to hang. Except he scapered right out of the castle dungeon.
How did he manage that?
Nobody knows. But I'll bet he had help from someone out of the castle.
And what was your wife's role in all this?
He had his eye on her, and she didn't want him. That's all. And it had nothing to do with what happened later.
I heard that he was a sorcerer.
And I've heard there's blooming roses on Rattay Gallows at Christmas. A sorcerer. Bah! Hare was a ruffian, but there was nothing supernatural about it.
That's all I need. Thanks. I found out where those poachers meet.
Well, that's at least one good bit of news. So tell me, where is it?
In fact, not all that far from you. In a glade not far from your lodge.
I see. They chose that place to mock them. I might have known.
But now we can finally nab them, right?
We can. Go to the castle and tell Captain Robard to send some men with you.
Wait, you're not coming?
I have a lot of work to do.
Of course you do. I've good news, Master. I tracked down one of the poachers right here in the village.
Excellent. Who is he?
Black Lukesh.
I might have known. That fellow has quite a reputation. All bad. How about the rest of them?
The rest?
Black Lukesh is a ruffian and a thief, but he doesn't have the brains to organize an operation like that.
I don't know about any others so far, but I'm on the scent.
So, keep at it, and let me know when you find out more.
I'm honored that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
I've come about the poachers, sir.
Oh, so you're the one Nicholas was talking about. All right. I'll send some of my men with you. Are you ready to set off?
Yes, sir.
Hanekin Hare, Zalush. I arrest you in the name of Lord Divish of Talmberg.
The Master Huntsman is not coming?
The Master Huntsman arrests poachers, not murderers. Will you come quietly?
What do you say, man?
What have we got here? Entertainment? Kind of life, are you?
Where is he?
I last saw him lying down in the forest.
Are you saying you killed him?
There was no other way. I'm just glad I got out in one piece.
Ah, well, I'd rather have had him alive, but what's to be done? But I can't be sure it was really Hare, unless you have some proof. He had an heirloom, a signet ring. That would prove it.
I have it here.
It's his, all right. Hard to believe the legendary Hanekin Hare is gone to his maker. Anyway, I do know how to show my gratitude. Here's your reward. Stop by any time you need to. You'll always find work here.
Thanks.
So this is one way how you can complete this quest, but we are gonna do other ways in the next episode. So if you liked this one, give it a like, dislike if you think it sucked, and see you next time. Thank you.